Hey gang, Uncle Todd here. And we're up to episode 3 of Loki. And this episode starts out with, now if you remember last season, the character of Ravana, she escaped with Miss Minutes, the AI that kind of runs the TVA and takes care of all the records and everything. Well, they went to Chicago in the 1860s on the sacred timeline. And there, Miss Minutes tells her to give this book that's wrapped put it through a window for someone to find. And that someone is a very young boy who's making candles. And he opens it up, and it's the TVA handbook that Obi wrote. So, we jump back to the TVA, and they have been able to track Rihanna and Miss Minutes. They are now somewhere in Chicago in the 1890s on a branch timeline. Giving that book caused a branch to form. Now, the prune branches, although they've been destroyed, other branches are forming to take their place. So they've only bought themselves a little time from General Docs. So Loki and Mobius head to Chicago in the 1890s, where they end up at the World's Fair trying to find Kang variant. It's obvious that's who Rihanna is trying to help, and so they've got to hunt for it. And they also find that there's a legend going around of a strange clock ghost that's haunting the World's Fair. This is the famous World's Fair. You get Loki going on and on about Thomas Edison and H.H. Holmes. So you got a great inventor and a serial killer, because apparently he don't play favorites. Anyways, after some crackerjack, they discover there is a temporal demonstration from a Victor Timely, which all comic book fans know was an alias that Kang had when he became an industrialist in the 20th century for a while in the comic books. So they go and they see him demonstrate his time funnel, which looks very much like the one the TVA uses. And he says it's a self-perpetuating machine. It can create energy as well as not only giving off energy but recharging itself. So it's kind of a perpetual motion machine. And he after demonstrating it, gets some offers for partnership, but he doesn't want any partners. And then someone offers to buy it, and the man who wanted the partnership, he raises the price, and they go back and forth until the man who wanted the partnership wins out with $1,000, which he pays in cash to Victor Timely. And Victor goes off and slips $100 to the guy who was the first guy who offered to buy it. And then it turns out he actually is a con man. The machine doesn't actually work, which causes him to get chased by the man who bought it. So Rihanna and Miss Minutes, they abscond with him, where he goes back to his digs, which was the same place that Rihanna had given him the book. But that's not where he lives. He has a lab over in the next state. They just have to get on a boat and head out. So, but they're found by the man who's chasing them, and they're also found by Loki and Mobius, who, after Loki demonstrates he's not one to mess with the other group. They're like, "Hey, you can have him," and they run off. But on the boat, Rihanna and Victor, they kind of start to bond, which ticks off Miss Minutes, who convinces Victor to toss her off the boat into a boat so that they can go off together, which he does, but Rihanna's not so easily gotten rid of, so she follows, rowing. Yes, she's going to follow a steamboat, water wheel boat, rowing. Anyways, they get to Victor's lab, he gets his stuff together, and then finds out Miss Minutes doesn't want to take him to the TVA so that he can fix the funnel, which is what Mobius and Loki had told him when they tried to get him. She wants him to build her a body, because when the original Kang gave her the ability to write her own code, she fell in love with him. But he's always chosen other people, not her. And if he just made her a body, they could be together, which freaks Victor out, and he manages to get her back into her temp pad. About that time, you know what I forgot? Sylvie had showed up at the fair, and there was a chase, and she's trying to kill him to prevent. She wants basically is going to go around and kill all the Kang variants, which they managed to escape. So they, at the time he gets Miss Minutes into the temp pad, Mobius and Loki show up. Or no, Rihanna shows up, and she's pulling out a one of his inventions. It turns out he is actually an inventor. He can invent stuff that works. Anyway, she pulls out one of his inventions, which is an early style purge stick. And she's threatening with it and explains she brings order to chaos. And she's going to use him to help her bring order to all this. At which point, Loki and Mobius show up, and they try to convince her that they all go back to the TVA, but she doesn't want to go back to TVA. She wants to start from scratch. Well, then Sylvie shows up, beats the crap out of everybody, and prepares to kill Victor. And then as he talks to her, she realizes Victor is the same as her. He's a variant. He might not ever become Kang. And she can't kill him just for that possibility that he would. Excuse me. Somebody's kind of bitey. And it's starting to hurt. Anyway. So, Mobius and Loki take Victor back to the TVA. Sylvie's going to deal with Ravonna. Now, Rihanna thinks she's going to kill her. She has every right to, the way she's treated her all through the years. But Rihanna instead decides to give her what she's always wanted, to sit at the throne of time. And she pushes her through a time door, where she ends up back at the end of time, where the desiccated body of Kang is. And she frees Miss Minutes, and they decide to team up, and she tells Rihanna she knows something about her past, and when she finds out, she's not going to be happy. Really good episode. A lot of great Easter eggs in it. There's a hilarious scene where at the World's Fair they come upon an exhibit for the Norse gods and the Viking pavilion, and Loki is not impressed. It's like Thor wasn't that tall, and this and that and the other, and there is a Norse being there that hasn't been shown in the movies yet. Name is Bayok, something like that. I'll correct it down below. And he's very disappointed in it. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with the future. That maybe, this is a theory that's been put up online, Mobius was not a jet ski salesman, as everyone speculated. Perhaps he is that Norse god, that Asgardian. It was a variant. Hard to say. A lot of good action. Loki uses his magic a few times. He and Sylvie have a great battle on a Ferris wheel as she's trying to kill Victor Timely. And Victor is an interesting character. I have to give it to the actor. He has now played the same character 3 different ways. He's made him 3 distinct individuals, and he is amazing at it. Depending on how his trial comes out on his abuse allegations, we may see him in the future, we may not, but at this moment, what a performance. Not much of Obi this week, which disappoints me a little, but a lot of good action and a lot of good thought-provoking arguments in this. About if Sylvie doesn't let them fix the TVA, none of this will be there, because if it blows, all the universes will be destroyed. There will be nothing and no one. But she's willing to take that chance to make sure to keep Kang from coming back. She'll just kill all the variants, and that'll solve everything. And you can't falter on that logic. Yeah, really good episode. Sad we only have 3 left. But the scene where Miss Minutes shows her true intentions towards Victor Timely, aka Kang. She is scary, which is amazing because she's just this little clock with feet. She looks like a little cartoon character. But when she starts talking about having a body made and they will be together, it is freaky. I'm beginning to think she's been the real villain the whole time. And yeah, really good episode. Look forward to next week. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.